Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome here at Crypto Hash Review, where we educate and disseminate information about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies from a Muslim perspective. And we are continuing on our journey, addressing the objections made by Islamic figures towards the Bitcoin network. And again, we mean no disrespect to any one of the individuals who said these objections or came up with these objections. One of the objections now, moving on to the next topic to do with miners and nodes. So these were a series of objections related to miners and nodes. And this one was, and I quote, mining is the same as what banks do. They print money out of nothing. Okay. This is, I would say, a misunderstanding of economics, monetary system, monetary policies, and Bitcoin itself. So let's have a look at Bitcoin compared to banks. I put forward an idea that this is actually the complete opposite. Bitcoin network is actually the polar opposite of what banks do. So let's have a look. What do banks do? So banks issue money through one of two ways. Either one, via central banks that issue money out of nothing. They literally either physically print off pieces of paper and say this is currency, or they do so digitally on a computer. And they do so by acquiring government bonds. So government would issue a bond, a loan, and then the central bank will give them this newly printed money in exchange for that loan. So it's almost like they will buy this debt with newly printed money. So that's what's called M1 money. So that's how they just literally fashion new money. As you mentioned before, this is basically money for work that will happen, not work that happened in the past, because obviously this is a loan. And the second way that banks issue money is through bank deposits or money in the bank. So banks have a balance sheet, or they have the money that's in their bank through people's deposits, and they are allowed to issue loans based on that asset, you could say. So they say. I mean, in practice, banks can actually issue loans even though they have nothing. But put that aside. So banks, in essence, issue further money. So if there's, let's just say for the sake of argument, you deposit £10, they have permission to lend out £9 plus your £10. And now they've almost doubled the money in circulation. So that's basically what banks do. They issue money through debt. And as I mentioned to you before, this debt basically means that you have to work after the issuance of money to pay back that loan. Whereas historically speaking, gold, silver, and other things, you have to do the work first in order to get the money. So you did the work first. You went to the mountain. You got the gold from the mountain. You smelted the rock. You got rid of all the dirt, and you just got the pure gold. All that work involved, all the effort involved. Now you have a piece of gold. That's what you've done. So you put value on that gold based on the work you put into that, or the effort you put into that work. So that's a system whereby the work preceded the money. So the previous money was work preceded the money, whereas our current system, the work happens after the issuance of money. Whereas Bitcoin network doesn't do that. It follows the old system, not the current system, whereby you have to make effort and work, and not just you make effort, we all have to collectively make effort. So that's one thing people don't understand, is that miners, when a miner mines, it's not just his effort that is put into value, it's the collective global effort. I mean, think about it. If I said to you, how much does a full day's worth of work in a gold mine, how much is that worth to you? You say, okay, maybe that's worth 50 quid. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, getting gold and smelting it, and that for one day, that you could say is approximately worth 50 quid, for example. Yeah. So that's one day's worth of work. And that's just you, your arms, your work, your resources, and then now it's £50. But with Bitcoin, it's actually not just one individual miner's work, it's everybody's collective work. Because the Bitcoin network has to make blocks every 10 minutes, and that 10-minute block is determined by the collective effort of everybody. So that's actually what gives Bitcoin its value. It's the collective effort of every miner on planet Earth, whichever country is from, whatever computer software is running, all of that put together, all that effort just to produce one block in 10 minutes, that's the value of Bitcoin. So it's not an individual thing, it's a collective thing. So the issuance of new Bitcoin is actually nothing to do with banks. You don't just print off new money on a system, you have to earn it, you have to work for it. And that is why Bitcoin resembles the old system, the new system. So now I fully object to this similarity between banks today and the Bitcoin network. They have no similarities whatsoever. They have completely different basis for their existence. And another analogy to this will be if we were to say, and we bring this, make it relevant to our times, we are afflicted with a global pandemic called COVID-19 and we need a vaccine straight away. Let us all globally put our efforts together to make a vaccine. So if every country put all their resources together, shared all their information, all their scientists, all their efforts, all their electricity, everything, and it all came together to try and find a vaccine for COVID, how much value would you put to that vaccine? You would effectively put the value of the collective effort of the whole world to make the vaccine. Therefore, that vaccine was very expensive because it took everyone however many months or weeks or even years to make this vaccine, and they all worked together. That's effectively what we can have as an analogy of Bitcoin mining. It's like all scientists coming together, all sharing their data, all sharing their efforts, all to make one single vaccine. That's effectively what we do when we issue Bitcoin. We hope you find this video beneficial and useful. Like this video, subscribe to our channel. If you wish to contact us for whatever reason, for consultation or for help or whatever, anything like that, you can find our details on our website, crypto-review.com. And we hope you have a good evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.